Guys, for tuning into another segment of the Sit Down with Malik Wright, presented by First Star Logistics. On this segment, I'll be discussing some interesting comments made by proclaimed GOAT or former GOAT, not Dan Marino, Joe Montana. Joe Montana came out recently and said that he believes Dan Marino is the GOAT, which was very interesting to me because just a couple of years ago he said Tom Brady was the GOAT. Now we all know Joe Montana wasn't thrilled with people saying Tom Brady had surpassed him. But I've got to wonder, is there a little bit of jealousy or a little bit of haterade going on with uh Joe Montana there? Because he just threw Dan Marino's name out there. Like, and you know what's funny enough? Growing up in my house, my dad was a Miami Dolphins fan. And he used to always tell me, Dan Marino's the GOAT, Malik. Dan Marino's the GOAT. And I just thought it was just clear Dolphins biases, of course. Dan Marino was considered one of our game's best passers. He was an elite quarterback in his time, but he had never won a championship, which, you know, I guess kind of kept him away from the GOAT conversation. Obviously, we all know the success that Joe Montana has. We all know the success that Tom Brady has had as well. Tom Brady's the most uh has won the most Super Bowls out of any quarterback in the National Football League. But it does beg the question, are did we forget Dan Marino? Did we forget that Dan Marino truly was an elite quarterback in his era? And I feel like that's something that isn't being talked about quite nearly enough because when you do talk about some of the GOATs, the greatest of all time, you hear Dan Marino's name mentioned like fifth, sixth, sometimes fourth, but he's never up there. It seems like he's forgotten about, when we mention the greatest of all time, we mention people um, like Joe Montana, like Tom Brady, like the Peyton Mannings of the world, so on and so forth. But even with saying all that and realizing how great Dan Marino was, I really do wonder, is this just a little bit of jealousy creeping in from Joe Cool? I gotta wonder that because literally a few years ago he just said Tom Brady was the GOAT, and again, it is well documented that he wasn't too happy when Tom Brady, so to speak, surpassed him as the GOAT. So I'm really curious to hear what other people think in the comment section. I'm really curious to hear what everybody else thinks. Obviously, we know Joe Montana, his legacy has already been cemented. We know Tom Brady's legacy is already cemented, and we'll never see these two go head to head. His interest, his reasoning was very, very interesting. Some of the stuff he said. He said, put Marino in today's game where he gets free releases and his receivers, holy cow, weren't even very big. Now these guys are 6'4", 6'5". I think Marino is probably one of the most unsung heroes of the game. People don't talk enough about him or realize the numbers that he put up during the times that he put them up, which is very, very true. It's great to play the woulda, coulda, shoulda game. For me, LeBron James is my GOAT, right? People say, oh, well, he didn't play in the 90s. Well, Michael Jordan didn't play in this era. It's very hard. I think that's the cool thing about sports. We can sort of mix and match all day and talk about who our GOATs are, but it's all subjective, right? It's all opinionated. It's not, and nothing is concrete in stone, but I do find the timing in the comments very, very interesting. But again, I could just be overthinking it. I'm really curious to what you guys' thoughts are. Who is your GOAT? Is it Joe Montana? Is it Tom Brady? Is it Dan Marino? Is it Peyton Manning? Is it Roger Staubach? I don't know. You tell me. Drop it in the comment section. If you like more video content like this, do us a huge favor. Give this video a like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and turn on post notifications so you don't miss when we go live from the First Star Logistics studio.